Today we have a preview of the new Muny season and the Whitaker Music Festival. That's next on City Corner. I'm Steve Potter, and welcome to City Corner. Well, the popular Whitaker Music Festival is about to begin, and we're going to have a preview of that coming up later in the program. But right now, it's the Muny. The Muny season is about to open too. Kwofe Coleman is the Muny's president and CEO, and he joins us now with a preview. Kwofe, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Haven't seen you for a while.
It's been about a year or so.
Is that all?
Yeah, it's Muny time again. Birds are chirping.
Have you been
trees are
busy?
budding.
Have you been busy?
A little bit. We've been picking shows, getting ready to reopen, a little bit of work on the campus, but it's summertime almost.
Here's a question I don't really mean seriously. Am I the only one that did not grow up with the Muny?
You might be. If it was true, then you might be the only one. I think it's one of the great benefits we have. Like, we're 106 years old, so 106 years in the same place, especially in the heart of St. Louis, a city that's built on tradition and loves tradition. Anywhere I go, if I have a Muny jacket or a Muny hoodie on, someone has a story about the time they were there with their parent or grandparent.
Yeah.
That's one of the things we love about the work we do.
It's an incredible place, that's for sure.
Thank you.
The season begins June 17th, am I right?
Yep.
Yeah. And there are 7 shows, and we're going to run those down real quickly.
Yeah.
Who picks the shows? Do you have a big committee?
We have a repertory committee on our board that gives final approval. Who picks the shows? Truly, the community does. I mean, we survey the audience, and I recently actually read that before my time, before your time, before all of our time, that survey used to run in the Post-Dispatch way back.
That rings a bell.
So maybe but not before your time, before my time. And so the survey.
Thanks, Kwofe.
Now we survey. Now we survey the audience in-house there, and so throughout the season they're selecting shows, and then that really informs the shows.
What I noticed about this season, I think this is pretty true all seasons. There'll be some shows that I've seen before years ago that are classics, and there's always a couple I haven't heard about, which is great.
Yeah, that's part of. If there is a recipe for this at all, that's part of it. It's to make sure.
Let's run them down, and let's start with the show that premieres June 17th. It's one people have heard of.
So we are opening with Les Mis. The last time we had this was 2013, and I know I'm not supposed to have favorite shows, but I have some favorite memories. And the last time we did this show, this was certainly one of them. I think it's a big show. It fits our stage. It's one of those things that can really showcase the unique space that we have. So it was high on the survey. Like I said, last time was 2013, so it's about time to bring it back, and it's well received.
And what's it about in 10 seconds?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I can give you the 10-second. It's about survival, about perseverance, about community in some ways.
It's interesting. That's one of the classics I've never seen.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I can't believe it myself. However, the next show I have seen. In fact, I did see them. You could probably tell me the year. It was a long time ago because I interviewed the star on my radio show.
Uh-huh. So that would be 2012.
Wow.
Yep.
Dreamgirls.
Just a couple years back.
Yeah.
Just a couple years.
Seems like yesterday.
So yeah, that's another one that's really high on the survey. That's great music. It's music from an era and a time and a culture. So when I say we survey the audience, we're asking them what they want to see and what they want to have in their theater. And this is one of those years where a lot of these shows are coming from the top of that list. So Dreamgirls is one that is one of those moments I fell in love with my job the last time we did it. I got to spend a lot of time with the star then as well. So it's a great one.
I gave her first. She had never heard of gooey butter cake. And we're talking about?
About the Jennifer Holiday. Yeah.
Yes. So I gave her first gooey butter cake, and I heard she liked it. Okay, let's go to the third show at the Muny.
Okay.
The Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. So that's the one that returns. I think important part of what we are is making sure that families can come out, right? Something that kids is a tradition. I talk about running into people and saying that they
Wasn't that a cartoon movie?
It was animated as well, but I think everyone knows the story of the mermaid, so it's always well received there. So that will be back. Last time was 2017, but a popular show. Anytime it's a Disney show, it's a great opportunity to bring family.
And the show after The Little Mermaid is another classic, Fiddler on the Roof. What would you like to say about that?
Fiddler, this is the 11th production of Fiddler on the Roof at the Muny. So in our history, 1 million people have seen Fiddler at the Muny. It's a story about tradition, a father trying to hold tradition and keep his family together. as the world changes around them. So it's
It sounds kind of relevant, doesn't it?
it's amazing. Everything that old is new again sometimes.
The next show you've got is one I'm really excited to see because I've heard all about it and never seen it, but I know it's been a big hit. Waitress.
Waitress is so you talked a little bit about some of the Muny premieres. This is one that we've never had at the Muny. High again on the survey.
And what's it about, really?
It's about discovering your new world. There's a heavy theme of friendship, kind of rising above challenges and challenge is probably the best word in life for the main character. The music is by Sarah Bareilles. So I actually was fortunate enough to see this when it opened on Broadway, and it's one that I think will fit well here for our audience as well.
Another one I haven't seen but heard a lot of good things about is In the Heights.
Another Muny premiere. So a person you might have heard of, Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote Hamilton. This is actually his first work. And
Hamilton was fantastic.
Hamilton, if you've heard about it. This is another one based in community in New York, and it's about a neighborhood and a culture, again, with the world kind of evolving around them.
And the new Muny season ends with another one that I've seen many, many years ago, a classic, Anything Goes.
Anything Goes, a comedy, dance.
How would you describe the storyline?
If you want, it's a comedy, romance, love story on a boat is the best way to say it. So if you want to see a Muny-sized production with lots of tap dancing, just one of those classic musicals, that's how we're ending the season.
There's been a lot happening on the Muny grounds over the last 4 or 5 years. I don't know anything recent, but we have some drone footage that we got from you.
Sure.
So why don't we just show that, and you can just kind of tell us what we're looking at, if you want to point anything in particular out. Sure. So this is over the Muny grounds.
Wow. So after the 2018 season, we renovated the stage. So what you're seeing the backstage, a view you never really get to see as the audience, but the stage towers are new, the light bridge. In 2019, we did $56 million of renovation. We call it our 100-year facelift, and we just wanted to make sure that the facility was state-of-the-art, that we could produce for the next generation, the next 100 years, the best of musical theater. So everything from tracking on stage to new light bridges and the light towers, all those things are new. And what you're seeing here is the neighborhood we get to be in. To be in Forest Park, what the city has done, what Forest Park Forever has done for the upkeep of Forest Park makes our job easier. People want to be in this park. It's where I think St. Louis really joins together. We think it's the heart of the city, so we appreciate being in the heart of that heart.
Yeah. What would you tell people? I know there's isn't there a time limit on getting season tickets and all that?
Yes, and I wouldn't say it's running out, but it's getting close. So to get the best season tickets, we recommend subscribe before May 13th. You can see all 7 shows for as little as $126, which, or truly we have the free seats as well. I think removing all barriers to access for the shows is really important to who we are, but we are thankful. We have almost 22,000 season ticket holders, and for the city of St. Louis to make this part of their summer tradition is why we can celebrate 160.
Is there anything you recommend to people in general when they attend, like where to park, what time to get there, what they should do first? Any overall kind of recommendations?
Great parking everywhere through the theater, through the park, I should say. When to get there, I recommend get there early. Again, you saw those drone shots of Forest Park as a whole. Come out. We have a restaurant on site to have dinner before. We have a pre-show festival, so on 3 stages around the campus, there's music, there's dining. The Muny kids and teens, our youth performers, are performing on some of the stages before. There's more than seeing the show. It's an experience. It's a time to unplug, step away from the day-to-day, and spend some time next to folks that may be just like you or nothing like you, but experiencing the same thing at the same time.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up the free seats because I've never seen a show from the free seats, but I always knew they were there. And even when I was young, I remember thinking that was such a cool idea because I never heard of free seats at a place like that before. Is that very common?
It's not very common. I actually just came back from a national theater conference just a couple weeks ago, and this is all the regional theaters. No one else has a program like this, and it's been here since day one. The first time I saw a Muny show when I was 7 or 8 years old was from the free seats.
And it's just like a lawn area behind the regular seating area, and I guess people just bring a blanket or a chair or something.
Seats. These are their seats. So the last 9 rows, when we redid the theater,
but originally, wasn't it?
Way back, there was lawn seating on the sides, but there were always chairs for the free seats. But now they're built in just like the other seats. There's just a little bit of a separation there. But the last 9 rows of the theater, 1,500 seats, are first come, first serve every night. So even if you want to just see part of a show, or you saw the show before, but you loved a particular number, you want to come back and see it, that it's there to make sure that no matter who you are, no matter what your means, access to the art is available.
Well, you know, obviously a lot of people from St. Louis or from the whole metro area go to the Muny. Yeah. I bet you have somebody in the office that figures this out. There's got to be a significant percentage, I would think, of people that come from far out of town to see the Muny. It's not just all locals.
It's not all locals. I think we have become a destination, especially over time, as other regional theaters that there used to be more big theaters. Now we are the oldest, largest by far in the country. We have people coming from neighboring states, certainly from all over Missouri, to see a show, especially when you have a premiere. Last year we did Chess, a rarely produced musical. So those tried and true musical theater lovers that want to see a show that is too big for another stage, maybe too much of a risk or whatnot, those are the things that we can do given our resources. So it has become a destination, and we're proud to represent not just St. Louis, but the region in that way.
Well, Kwofe Coleman, thank you for taking time to come preview this with our audience. Appreciate it. There's nowhere like the Muny, and we certainly love what you do.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
It's the 2024 Muny season. Find out more about the 106th season by going to munyinfo@muny.org, and you can find out everything you need to know. I'm Steve Potter. We'll see you at the Muny this summer. Bye.
You know, how you feel on the inside is just as important to me as how you feel on the outside.
Oh, Daddy.
I'm grown up, in every way, care and take care of you. You're my grown up, and I know you're there.
You're grown up, and you know I care.
'Cause it's you and me and me and you.
So when you are okay or not okay, I'll take care of you.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Luke! 911, where's your emergency?
Everyone's on their way. What happened?
Your friend's not breathing.
She's dead? Yes, please get my mom and dad. Oh my God!
There's so many reasons to love St. Louis, you can't pick just one. From the arts, architecture, and culture. An all-new development including the Cortex Community Center. And you're never too far from great music and entertainment.
So come and experience St. Louis.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
I'm Steve Potter. Welcome back to City Corner. Well, the Whitaker Music Festival at the Missouri Botanical Garden is back going this season, and here we have Catherine Martin to give us a preview. Catherine, welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for having me.
And I have an extremely important question to ask you.
Okay.
Have you been to the Muny?
I am a season ticket holder, so I am there every
Don't you love it?
summer. Yes, it's one of my favorite parts about the summer.
Hey, there's a lot in common with the Muny and the Whitaker Music Festival. I mean, there's music and it's outdoors.
Exactly. The Whitaker Music Festival is not quite as old as the Muny, but it has been around for a while, and it's a tradition.
What can you tell me about the history about it?
Yeah, so it started in 1987, so it does have a fairly long history, not 106 years, but still. And it was called Jazz in June, so it was just nights in June, and it was just jazz, and it was actually a paid concert. And then the Whitaker Foundation came in as a donor, and in 1996 they took over, and that's what allowed it to be free, and we expanded it to the 10 nights throughout the summer.
Right, so on Wednesday evenings.
Wednesday nights,
It starts May 29th, runs through July the 31st. There are 10 bands altogether, and we're going to go over them here in just a second. A variety of music. How do you choose? How do you choose what you want to put on stage?
Sure. So there's a selection committee that looks at different bands that submit to be part of the festival. And the Whitaker Foundation is involved too to make sure it fits in with their mission. And they all have some connection to St. Louis. They're mostly local bands or...
It's a nice variety of music styles, which we'll find out here. Let's run them down. I've got some other questions to ask you because I know people can bring picnics, there's food there, and you have some other advice for people too. So I have a list of bands. Let's start with the first one. It's actually a woman that I've met before. She was on the radio with me years ago, Janet Evra, and she will be there on Wednesday, May 29th. What can you tell me about Janet?
Yes, so Janet is originally from England, but now she calls St. Louis home. So she's an international jazz vocalist and bassist and band leader, and she's collaborated with a lot of local St. Louis jazz legends. So if you like jazz, that's going to be a great show for you to enjoy.
Yeah, it's kind of intimate.
Yes.
Yeah. June 5th, it's a band. You'll have to explain this to me. It's described as hearty sonic stew. Their music. That sounds interesting.
Yes, I think they kind of combine lots of different...
And Cluster Pluck is the band.
Cluster Pluck, yes. So they combine different types of music, so jam band, country, rock. So that's kind of the stew they're throwing in the ingredients of different genres of music to make this really unique sound with electric guitar, acoustic guitar, banjo, drums, mandolin, so just kind of bringing everything to the table.
You all said they had a local connection. Does that mean that we might have seen any of these groups somewhere around town before?
Yes, they're from Southern Illinois, so they play around the area. So with pretty much all of them, you've likely seen them somewhere before.
This next one, which is going to be on Wednesday, June 12th, is one that I'm familiar with, and they're really good. The St. Boogie Brass Band.
Yes, I've seen them a few times too.
How do you describe what they do?
They have a lot of horns, a lot of brass, as their name implies, and it's just kind of a fusion of percussion, and they create a party atmosphere.
I hear
with
people
their
have been known to
music.
dance.
Yes, you're definitely going to want to get up and dance for that band.
On June 19th, it's the Red Jackets, and they sort of do a lot of hits. I think people would recognize a lot of what they play.
Yeah, that's another one. I think you're going to get up and be dancing because you'll know a lot of the songs. They play a lot of weddings, so they're playing the songs that get you out on the dance floor.
Well, whenever I dance in public, I usually embarrass myself, but I'll be tempted to.
You know, it's a big garden. People might not see you.
As long as other people are dancing, it's not so bad.
They will be.
On June 26th, I've never heard of this one, so I'm curious about it. I understand they kind of have a retro feel to them. That's Flying House?
Yeah, so they're kind of retro meets contemporary, so they've got 60s and 70s kind of psychedelic vibes along with some of the 80s ska and reggae. So they're, again, kind of mixing some things together for a really unique sound.
So I'll probably dance to that one too.
There's going to be a lot of
Are
dancing.
there any of these that I won't dance to?
I think you're going to be dancing all summer long.
July 3rd, I've never heard of this one. And I think, tell me if I'm right, I think they just released their first single, St. Chuck?
They did. So they started just as a cover band, and just in February they released their first single, and they're releasing a few more, so there may be a few more out before the show. And they're just a great, unique band to come see and dance to.
And then on July 10th, you wrap up the Whitaker Music Festival with someone I've never heard of, so I want you to tell me about her. Beth, is it Bambara?
Bambara. And she's not our last one. We've got a few after her.
Oh, you're right. I didn't turn my card over.
That's okay. So she's American folk rock. So she's got a really strong voice that's a unique sound that's going to be a great performance on a summer night.
You're right. There are three more. July 17th, Star Roscoe?
Five-Star Roscoe.
Five-Star Roscoe.
Yes. So they play a lot of vintage tunes. So again, I think you'll recognize a lot of the music, and you might want to dance to that too. A lot of top shelf vintage songs.
Oh, I see you dancing at all of these?
You might.
All right, just curious. July 24th, not the Soulard Blues Band, is it?
It is the Soulard Blues Band. So they have a long history in St. Louis.
They've been around, isn't it 45 years?
45 years. So if you live in St. Louis, you're likely to have seen them at some point. They play all over town. They're a great group of blues musicians and St. Louis legends.
And then on July 31st, this is the wrap-up, finally. And I'm not familiar with these guys, but I wonder if they're sort of like the blues band. The red...
Yeah,
the red and black brass band.
So they're a New Orleans style. So there's some similarities. They're kind of they're a New Orleans style second line band. So there's a lot of horns, and again that fun party atmosphere with the music they're creating.
Okay, we've got a short video I want to show, and we talked about Janet Ever in the beginning because she's going to kick off with the first concert. We've got a short video of her just to sort of sample her music. I want to share that with the audience.
Great.
Just another summer love song. Ooh, I'll play some major chords and sing along. Just another summer love song. Ooh, I'll play some major chords. You press record and
Very chill.
It's a great representation of Whitaker in a nice summer song.
Yeah, speaking of that, that's a good entry to that. Explain the atmosphere. Now, everybody's welcome. It's for families, people of all ages.
Yes, exactly. It's free to come to the concert.
I forgot to mention that.
Yes, so it really is for everyone. And so we have lots of people bring their children, families come, friends, and it's the only time you can picnic in the garden. So a lot of people bring their own picnic, set up, have a nice dinner, enjoy the evening in the garden and listening to wonderful music.
Do you recommend people bring things like blankets and chairs?
Yes. Yes, definitely. Don't forget your chairs or blankets, somewhere to sit. You don't want to sit in the grass. You might get, it's grass.
They're bugs.
Yes, exactly.
You said people are welcome to bring picnics and things, but you do have a food service available too.
Yes. So if you did not remember to pack your picnic, if you're like me, you're grabbing your two kids and trying to get out the door, there is food for sale there. We'll have some dinner items, and then there's some food partners as well.
We've got a couple more images I want to share because after this, you've got some other things coming up we just want to kind of give a brief mention to. The Green Living Festival is one thing.
Yes, so we have that coming up this summer, and that is coming back to the Garden Grounds for the first time since 2019. Our sustainability team had been kind of taking the show on the road for the last 2 years. So they'd gone to all of the ZMD institutions to do a mini version of this event. It'll be back at the garden better than ever. So it's just a chance to learn how to be more sustainable in your everyday life, but there's activities for kids and families, and there's yoga, so there's something for everyone.
So you can learn smart stuff and have fun.
Exactly.
Right. Also, another thing coming up is the Chinese Culture Days, which I think has always been kind of neat.
Yes, this is something we have done for many years. with some community partners. And again, it's something for everyone. There's a big dragon that starts off the opening parade, and kids loved that they can hold the dragon puppet. It's really fun and interactive. There's fantastic food, authentic Chinese food, and there's just entertainment throughout the weekend. We're really excited to have a world record, Guinness Book of World Records performer who has the record for holding the most open umbrellas at one time. So very cool acrobat experience to check
And
out.
what about Children's Garden Days? That one I haven't heard of.
Yeah, so this year, for the first time in a while, we're having extended evening hours. They've begun already, and they'll go through September. So the garden is open until 8 p.m. on Thursdays, and the children garden is open during that time until 7 p.m. on those nights. And it's included with your general admission. So if you want to grab your kids and come by after work and check out the children's garden, there's food for sale too, so you can grab your dinner, you can take a sunset stroll, grab some drinks. Our shop is open, so it's just a nice way to spend a spring or summer evening.
And I can't imagine there's someone that's not been to the Missouri Botanical Garden, but if they haven't been, they need to go, because this sounds like an exaggeration. But isn't there just a handful of places in the world that people even say are comparable to it?
It is one of the top 3 botanical gardens in the world. So it is a treasure in St. Louis that we should all be proud of, and we want everyone to come and enjoy it.
Well, let's remind people of a few things. It's the Whitaker Music Festival. It's going to be on Wednesdays, running May 29th through July 31st. What's the best way, to enter? Do you have any recommendations on how people should get there, where they should park, or any alternatives?
Yeah, so everyone does have to come through the Jack C. Taylor Visitor Center. So you need to come through the main entrance. And my advice is just get there as early as you can to give yourself time to walk out, get your picnic set up, and get comfortable.
And gates open at 5, is that right?
5 o'clock.
And music starts at 7?
Yes.
So you can come anytime?
Anytime. Get your picnic set up, eat your dinner, and get yourself a spot.
And I know not everything is open. Not everything's open during the festival. So what other things can people do while they're there?
Yeah, so it really is all about the music. You can enjoy the beautiful garden as you walk out to the Cohen Amphitheater where it's held. But yeah, some of the conservatories are closed just because we want to make sure it's all about the music and having a night in the garden and listening to some music.
Mm-hmm. Well, just generally, you've been there a few years, Botanical Garden, as an employee there. What a fun place to work.
It is a wonderful place to work. It really is a treasure in the city.
What else is going on there? Anything that you can think of off the top of your head coming up? Anything new this year? Or?
The extended hours are what we're really excited about. And then, at the end of the summer, we'll have our Japanese festival. That's
fantastic.
Labor Day weekend.
Catherine, we're out of time, but I hope people will take advantage of this and check out the Whitaker Music Festival Wednesdays, May 29th through July 31st. Catherine Martin, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the park. And there's the information if you want to find out more. Catherine, thanks again.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm Steve Potter, and thank you for watching City Corner. Join us next time. Bye-bye.